How's it going, and welcome to The Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at the fundamental differences from my point of view between overdrive and distortion. But before I do, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can catch up to date every time I put out a new video. So, overdrive and distortion. Not really the kind of subject matter I usually cover in the video. It's a very subjective thing, and I don't normally do kind of really what comes down to opinion kind of pieces on my channel. But at the end of last year, Wampler reached out to me and asked me would I be an affiliate for their new course that they're running on just this, the different types of gain pedals that there are. So I was really chuffed to be asked by Wampler to do this, and so I'm going to be adding a link at the end of this video and at the end of every video from here on in where you can check out Wampler's new course. In fact, I'll stick a link to it up here as well, on the different types of gain pedals, right? I'm going to, after I do an audio demo, I'm going to go into that course a little bit and talk a little bit more about it. This is the only time I'm ever going to talk about it. It's really cool. I've done the whole course. Actually, I haven't done the whole course. I think I have 2 sections left to do. It's a very, very long and comprehensive course about understanding gain pedals. And so when they asked me to do it, I had a look at the course and I thought it was great and thought it was really useful. And I thought I'd really like to be able to be an affiliate with them. So, but rather than just stick it at the end of the video and go check it out, I wanted to kind of give some sort of context as to what it's about. So it's about the different types of gain pedals that you can use and what you would use them for and what they sound like, things like that. And so as an introduction to that, I wanted to talk about the difference between overdrive and distortion pedals. So on that note, I'm going to jump into the audio demo in a second and show you what I perceive the difference between them to be. But from a top level, an overdrive pedal, such as the most famous overdrive pedal, which is a tube screamer, and a distortion pedal, of which the most famous one is a Proco Rat, which I'll stick the 2 of them up here. An overdrive pedal, for me, adds flavour and boost and changes the character of the sound that you're on, whether that's clean or dirty. It overdrives the sound that you're on. Whereas distortion, to me, is a replacement for the dirty channel on an amp or a dirty amp sound. Philosophically, they're very, very different things to me. And I think a big part of the reason for that is I came up on the music of the early 90s, which was very loud, quiet, loud, quiet, loud, quiet. And a lot of times people would use distortion pedals to switch between loud bits and quiet bits as dynamic changes in songs. So to me, distortion is for going from quiet to loud, and then overdrive is either for flavouring clean or for flavouring distortion, right? So to explain what I mean, I'll get into the audio part of the demo here. So here you go, the differences between overdrive and distortion. Okay, so I don't actually have a Rat and Tube Screamer in my arsenal, which is why I was talking about them with the graphics there in the intro. What I do have is a TC Electronic Nova Drive, which is a Rat and a Tube Screamer, funnily enough. So on the pedal cam you can see here, this side says distortion, this side says overdrive, so it's perfect for demonstrating this. There's also a routing switch here which allows me to go distortion, overdrive, parallel, or overdrive, distortion, which I'll get into in a bit as well. But it's a really good way of demonstrating the difference between the two, from my philosophy, that is, okay? So what I'm doing is playing this 60s reissue Classic Series Telecaster. It's a Fender Mex Telecaster from about 10 years ago. It's before the current Player Series or whatever the current series is. It's just a really standard 60s style Telecaster. So here's the neck pickle. Middle setting. Bridge. Great sounding guitar. I'm playing through the Koch Studio Tone 20 head direct via the emulated output into my interface. So, as I was saying there, tiniest little bit of hair on it. Play lightly. It's completely clean if I dig in. It's actually pretty much just clean. So as I was saying, right, overdrive, in my opinion, is something you use to add a certain character to a sound. So I'm going to turn on the tube screamer side of this right now on the neck pickup, and it goes from this, which is a very even flat sound, to this, where the mids are pushed. And there's a tiniest little bit of extra hair. But it adds fatness to the sound. Okay, so, and then as an alternative to that, distortion. Changes the character of the sound a lot more drastically. Actually, what I said there is not really accurate. It changes the gain of the sound, and it changes the overall impact of the sound. Off, on. Like, even if I turn up the overdrive on the Tube Screamer side to match the distortion, right? Here's the clean sound. I pick up, overdrive. Still very smooth, and it's got this mid-push thing. That's an effect, right? Whereas if I turn on the distortion pedal, it's like your dirty sound. And the best way of demonstrating that is, my Koch that you can't see here, it's out of shot, but it's a twin channel amp, right? It's got a clean and a dirty channel. So if I was using my Koch for a live gig, I would switch between this sound and this sound with a foot switch. That's the dirty channel on the amp. Clean sound, rat sound. It's probably a bit more mid-push, so what I'm going to do is increase the bass and treble slightly, give it a bit more gain. Difference being, that's the sound I would choose if I didn't have that dirty channel on my amp. I would not use this as my principal over distortion sound. It's not ampy enough, whereas this to me feels more ampy. The reason for that is it doesn't have a pushed mid character, and the distortion is more hard clipping. And if I can push that distortion, very ratty distortion. Distortion as an effect, while I would always choose it to replace the dirty channel on my amp if I didn't have one, there are pedals that you can get out there that simulate the dirty channel of an amp, right? Like the OCD is very good at that. All the Marshall and box pedals do it very well. Like even the specifically the Marshall ones, like the Governor or the Drive Master and stuff, do it very well. The Exotic XL Drive, I think it's called, is one of the best ones I've ever heard. The Bogner Blue does an amazing job of replacing the dirty channel in your amp. They are all distortion pedals in my opinion, but the Rat has its own thing as distortion pedals go. It's a slightly different, more square, angular sort of sound than the dirty channel on an amp is. But you can use it for the same purpose, whereas I don't really feel, even with high gain, overdrive to me, like this sort of like very stereotypical overdrive in the form of a Tube Screamer, sounds more like an effect than it does a dirty channel on an amp. Obviously, Tube Screamers are very, very well known for like playing the bluesy thing. So they have that bluesy thing about it. And that's again difference between that and a distortion. You can hear the mid-range push on the overdrive. And that is kind of the principal difference between them. Overdrive or distortion is better for that. better for rock riffing, and Overdrive is better on a clean sound for kind of almost like it's like a cleaner fattening effect for your clean sound. Then obviously you can combine the two of them. So if you start with a clean sound, right, add the distortion. Then you want to boost that for a lead. Tube Screamer into a Rat is a brilliant like rock lead sound. The other thing you can do then is, because the again, this is I could even be wrong saying this, because the Tube Screamer style thing is lower gain. You can lower the overdrive level, push the gain level, and then switch the overdrive to be after the distortion. And what you'll get is, as opposed to push gains. Actually, I'm going to wind back the gain here a little bit to demonstrate this. So, clean sound. I'll boost the level a little bit. Perfect, that's almost unity. Distortion. And then say you wanted to get a louder lead signal. That's distortion into overdrive as opposed to overdrive into. To be honest, things like that will always be more evident when you're playing through a loud rig. Right now my amp, because it's attenuated, is very, very pushed. So there's not a lot of headroom for those two to have much of a difference. But there is a difference in running overdrive before distortion and distortion after overdrive. And then obviously the other thing is running in parallel. It's different again. Clean. Distortion. And then adding the overdrive in parallel. Actually quite quiet. So basically, the way you're thinking of it is, use distortion to deliver impact, right? So if you're playing a song that has a clean verse and you want to have impact in a chorus, especially in a sort of alt rock, grungy kind of way, distortion is great for exploding a part of a song with a guitar part. Overdrive adds character to guitar that makes it cut through a mix. It's generally very good for changing rhythm guitar into lead guitar because of that mid push. Like I said at the beginning, there are other types of overdrive which don't have mid push. I generally don't use those types of overdrive for this purpose, but I kind of think of overdrive as a tone shaping tool and distortion as sort of a dynamic change tool. So I hope that's my philosophy on it anyway. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Wampler course in detail now. So there you go. That is my kind of top level look at what the differences between overdrive and distortion are. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the reason I'm making this is because Wampler have asked me to be an affiliate with their new courses about all different types of gain pedals. So what I wanted to do is just give you a quick 2-minute overview of what that course is. And then after I've gone through that, the link to that course will be in the bottom of this video. And every time you sign up to it, I'll get a kickback from it as well, which is amazing. If you want to help the channel, that's a great way to do it. And it's great content to kind of use. So yeah, here's a little introduction to Wampler's video on the different sorts of dirt pedals that you can use. Okay, so what this actually is a course by Wampler Pedals, who are a pretty huge pedal company in the States, that goes through what it says here, the Wampler blueprint, understanding overdrive distortions and beyond, right? So join Brian Wampler, who is the owner and main man behind Wampler Pedals, and it goes through all the different types of overdrive distortions and beyond, right? So these are the different modules. So what all is in this course? There's overdrive pedals, distortion pedals, fuzz pedals, other types of dirt pedals. Then we talk about stacking pedals for more tone variety, boost pedals, noise gates, buffers, compressors, right? So it's every type of gain pedal imaginable, and then there's 4 to 5 videos. No, 3, actually there's a ranging different number of videos for each section. I have gotten as far as the end of stacking pedals for more tonal variety, and like it really is very impressive. It's great to see Brian Wampler doing this himself. He's really passionate about what he does. He really loves tone and pedals and stuff like that. So I think you just follow the link and it'll show you how to sign up for it. I think it's about $80, I think, if I remember correctly. $79, there you go. So it's really worth taking a look at. And if you want to know more about overdrive, distortion, fuzz, compression, noise gate, compressors, that kind of thing, anything to do with gain, this is a really good place to start. So there you go. Check out the course if you want to. I know a lot about pedals, and about dirt pedals and gain pedals, fuzz pedals, compressors, overdrive, distortions, that kind of thing. I still learned particularly about stacking. There's a part where you stack 2 different distortion pedals. It was also quite interesting. I learned a lot from this, even for someone who, in my opinion, has a decent amount of knowledge about gain pedals. So I think it's worth looking at. And like I said, anybody that signs up to it, I get a kickback from it. I don't make any money from this channel other than my YouTube revenue. And at 4,000 subscribers, as you can imagine, it's not a huge amount. So every little helps, as I say. So check out the course if you like it. Go through my affiliate link and I'll get a kickback. That would be amazing. Thanks for watching as always. Be back next week with I'm waiting on a new pedals from Jam Pedals, who have reviewed one of their pedals recently. I've bought their new fuzz pedal. I'll be reviewing that. Hopefully it'll be here before next week. So happy new year to everyone. First video 2024. Hope your holiday period was nice, and I shall see you in another video again soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.